Hi, my name is Yuki, and I'm a graphic designer from Japan. Today, I want to share my experience with learning English, why I started, the challenges I faced, and how it's opened up new perspectives in my life and career. For me, learning English began with curiosity. As a designer, I've always been fascinated by Western pop culture. Movies, TV shows, music, and even graphic design trends often come from English-speaking countries. But growing up, I could only enjoy them on the surface. I wanted to understand the lyrics of my favorite songs, follow the dialogue in movies without subtitles, and dive deeper into the meaning behind the visuals I admired. At first, learning English felt like trying to decode a complicated design brief. I didn't know where to start. Should I focus on grammar, vocabulary, listening? It was overwhelming. But then I realized that, just like in design, the best way to learn is to start small and build step by step. One of my first steps was watching movies in English. I started with animated films because the language was simpler and the visuals helped me understand the story. I remember watching The Lion King and feeling proud when I could understand basic phrases like, Hakuna Matata. Slowly, I moved on to more complex movies and started using English subtitles instead of Japanese ones. Music was another big part of my learning journey. I've always loved Western pop and rock, but I used to just hum along without knowing the words. When I started learning English, I made it a goal to understand the lyrics. I would print them out, highlight new words, and sing along. It was a fun way to practice pronunciation and learn phrases that people actually use in real life. Reading was more challenging for me. English design books and articles often have a lot of technical terms, and I'd get frustrated trying to look up every word. But over time, I learned to focus on the overall meaning instead of every single detail. One of the first books I read in English was Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. It's about creativity, and the simple, conversational language made it easier for me to follow. Speaking was the scariest part of learning English. As a designer, most of my work is visual, so I didn't have many opportunities to practice speaking. But I knew that if I wanted to grow professionally, I had to overcome that fear. To practice, I started joining online communities for designers. Platforms like Behance and Dribbble are great for sharing work, but they're also great for connecting with people from around the world. I began leaving comments and participating in discussions in English. It was intimidating at first, but the design community is so supportive, and I quickly realized that people care more about your ideas than your grammar. One of the most exciting moments in my English journey was when I attended a virtual design conference. I had to present one of my projects and answer questions from the audience, all in English. I was so nervous, but I prepared by practicing my presentation over and over again. When the day came, I made a few mistakes, but people were kind and encouraging. That experience gave me a huge confidence boost. Learning English has also had a big impact on my personal life. It's allowed me to connect with people from different cultures and learn from their perspectives. For example, I've made friends from the US, the UK, and even Australia through online forums and social media. Talking with them has taught me not just about English but also about their way of life, their humor, and their values. One of the things I love most about learning English is that it's helped me see the world differently. In Japanese, we have phrases and expressions that reflect our culture, and English has its own unique way of expressing ideas. Learning these differences has made me more creative as a designer. It's like adding new colors to my palette. For anyone learning English, my advice is to make it part of your passion. Whether you love movies, music, art, or anything else, use that as your motivation. When you're enjoying yourself, it doesn't feel like studying, it feels like exploring. I have my English sketchbook. Whenever I come across a new word or phrase, I write it down and draw something related to it. For example, I recently learned the phrase, think outside the box, so I drew a little cartoon of a box with ideas spilling out of it. It helps me remember and makes learning fun. To me, learning English is like designing a project. You start with a blank canvas, and little by little, you add elements until it becomes something beautiful. It's not about being perfect, it's about progress and creativity. Thank you for listening to my story. If you're learning English, I'd love to hear what inspires you. Let's keep supporting each other and exploring this amazing journey together.